Well, let's move into the final topic. We're talking the NBA playoff predictions. We totally messed up our preseason predictions, but that's what makes this fun. Everything's going to happen. You can't predict the NBA season.
So many comments with, how are the Raptors disrespected like this? Because I had them at 4.
Believe them. We didn't believe in them. Sorry,
guys.
I
thought Cleveland somehow, with a bunch of solo players, was actually going to have talent this year.
Yeah, and then Boston, too, not getting injured with Gordon Hayward, Kyrie.
Yeah.
We thought they would actually be able to...
There was logic behind most of these.
Be around. Yeah, so
No one saw the Sixers rattling off 15 straight wins to end the season.
Seriously. So this is what makes the NBA playoffs fun. We're going to start on the Western Conference first round, then move over to the Eastern Conference, then move to the Western Conference second round, and the Eastern Conference back and forth, like you guys know. And let's start off with the 1-8 matchup in the Western Conference first round. The number 1 Houston Rockets are taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Thoughts on the Rockets?
Well, my whole thing about just this series in general is the Rockets might be my favorite to come out of the West this year, but the whole thing that I'm thinking about is this matchup. Oh, that's cute. You beat the Nuggets to get in, T-Wolves. Think you're going to, have fun because you're going to lose to the Rockets.
But, is it going to be close at all?
No. I think it's a 4-game sweep.
You think it's a 4-game sweep?
That's insane.
Just like...
they've got talent.
Just like the Warriors did in their past, I think the Rockets can do the same thing in the first round. Sweep, move on to the next.
But they were playing, really bad 8 seeds. This Minnesota team was near the middle of the pack, and I know the middle of the pack was so close this year in the Western Conference, but they also lost Jimmy Butler.
But the T-Wolves don't play defense.
They don't.
And if you're not going to play defense against James Harden, he's going to put up points.
But you have Jimmy Butler. That's the difference. You have a healthy Jimmy Butler. He's already LeBron's daddy. Maybe we don't know. Maybe he's got twins.
Could he be the barber? The beard versus the barber?
We could see. I'm just saying, he's got that one game in him. Pretty much, he's just getting his way back in. But I think it's going more than 4. I don't have Minnesota winning, but I do think it's going more than 4. Maybe 5, maybe 6. I think it'll be a great series. Honestly, the big thing was the shoulder injury to Luke Mamute, because for what he provides for them, he's basically a 3-4-5. He does everything. He guards everyone. He is such a huge guy for that team, and him being out, definitely going to be a loss. But I think matchup-wise, it's just going to be dirty to see that Harden versus Jimmy Butler matchup all day.
Well, it's going to be I think this is finally an interesting 1-8 matchup, because you look at this, you look at the point guard situation. If Jeff Teague can play like a decent NBA player, this might make this series kind of close. If Jeff Teague can go out and have a really decent series and not match Chris Paul, but at least be near him, and Jimmy Butler can slow down James Harden, we know Cat's better than Clint Capella, but if he wins that battle consistently offensively and Wiggins is able to score on the other side, even though he hasn't been great, there's a lot of potential for the Wolves to possibly pull an upset. It's very slim, but I really think this could be an interesting matchup, and everything plays out well for the T-Wolves, especially having Tom Thibodeau, who we've seen be a great defensive coach before. Obviously, that has not,
translated to defense results on the floor
in the past 2 years. But still, if he's somehow able to get that out of his team in this first round, it could be an interesting series. I'm still picking Houston to win, probably in 5 games, but I think that Minnesota definitely on the right track, and next year, if they're able to get a better seeding, this might be a team that could go to the Western Conference Finals. Possibly the 76ers just a little bit different.
Yeah, I think the one thing for me that concerns me is obviously that their game plan for Minnesota has been questionable all year, where it goes off of, are we going to give Cat 5 shots tonight or 20 shots tonight? Are we going to give Jeff Teague, is he going to be the guy, or is Wiggins going to get shots? They have awful decision making when it comes to who they're going to run that offense through, and they're all going to play more than 40 minutes. So those two things combined is why this team isn't going to win. The depth of Houston's awesome. Eric Gordon, Trevor Reeves, they just have wings for days. Minnesota's going to have good stats, but it's going to be bad games.
Houston's going to win in what?
5.
5? You're
4-game sweep for the Rockets.
I'm saying 5. OKC versus Utah in the 4-5 matchup. Thoughts on this one? Who wins and in how many games?
I really love this one because it's the team where, the Thunder, where we had so high of expectations, like we mentioned in Wet Boys. What is Brody going to do? Then the Jazz. It's you lose Gordon Hayward. Everyone's down on the Jazz. Mitchell comes in, playing Rookie of the Year levels out of him. I think this is going to be, of course, the teams are going to come into it, but Brody versus Mitchell, and the Jazz could take this one to 6 or 7 and surprise the Thunder with this 4-5. Because they did the same thing last year, coming in as the 5 seed, beat the 4 seed last year.
Are they going to do it, though?
Yes, I got the Jazz, I'll say in 6.
All right. Dave, who you got?
I have been flip-flopping on this literally as I'm talking. I'm typing in different names. this matchup is sort of weird because
You
if
just
you
did
believe
it again.
I know. So if you believe what we saw at OKC during the regular season is what they're going to be, then I think the Jazz have a very good shot beating them. But if you think that Carmelo Anthony, Paul George, and Brody take it to the next level for playoff basketball, which I think they have that extra year, that the Utah Jazz just simply don't have. And that's why I want to give the edge to Utah. I think to OKC.
You're switching right now, too.
Nope.
You're, in your head, you're switching.
OKC in 6 is my thing because they have 3 superstars. Gobert, defensively amazing, but guess what? You have outside shooters, and that's Carmelo Anthony, Paul George are going to take it to the outside. They're going to stretch this floor out and make him pay for it.
I agree with you. Talent-wise, OKC, should easily win this series. But again, Utah, not only do they have a ton of fan support behind them, they also have a great coach in Quinn Snyder. And
Yes.
I'm sick of
Potential coach
disrespecting
of the
him.
year?
Underrated head coach.
Without a
and I'll
doubt.
say
He was
that.
in our top 10 last year.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
going
he's
to
top
say
5 for coach of the year this year.
the first time we did coach of the year, I had him the highest.
I have him the lowest.
And I
thought he was a psychopath.
And I was yelling at you guys.
I know.
And I'm just saying. And then they had that that victory last year in the playoffs. And
Is
then
this a whole
he moved
Sean
up a
is
little
right
bit.
thing?
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna move this parade around. They won last year. He moved up a little bit. He's a top coach in the NBA. I can't say the same for Billy Donovan. And again, I'm sick of saying
I love the
potential.
I love the nod out of Dave as he drinks like, yeah, you know where we're going with this.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
I knew it was coming around to Billy Donovan. That's where it was going.
Well, it's the
saw it
matchup.
coming.
It's the coaching matchup. And the thing is that I'm sick of waiting on, stars to when are they going to show up? When are they going to turn to the next gear? It's super teams. You know what? Utah's been a great team consistently this year. They had that great stretch of winning 10 straight games or whatever, how many games they won to really get back into playoff contention. It was an awesome run. Donovan Mitchell's been great. Rudy Gobert is, defensive player of the year. You look at Ricky Rubio. He's fun to watch. It's hard not to like Ricky Rubio.
Say the name. Say my boy's name. Give him credit.
Jay Crowder's been good coming over.
No.
Jumping Joe Ingles.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Jingles has been amazing.
Has been disrespected, and Dave can go on that whole thing. I'm going to pick the Utah Jazz in 7. OKC is more talented, without a doubt. Utah's a better basketball team, though. 3-6 matchup, Portland versus New Orleans. I think this is going to be the best matchup of the Western Conference Finals, or the Western Conference playoffs this year.
No, for me, the only one that I think will rival is I think the one we just talked about, Jazz Thunder, will be a little bit better because of everything that we said.
I think these games are going to consistently be closer, though.
But this one, for me, it all comes down to I love the Blazers in this one, and it comes down to can the backcourt, can CJ and Dame turn on that next level and get through? Because to me, how I'm thinking it, of course, players don't think ahead, but I am. You get through this Pels team, you get to knock down the defending champs. And this Blazer team had done it I know regular season's different than playoffs. They've done it so far this season. They have the capability to do it. Get through the Pels. You could possibly take down the Giants in the second round.
Do they win in what?
I got the Blazers in 6. I'll say Blazers in 6.
David.
Bro, have you even heard of playoff Rondo? Like, do you even
No,
respect
I know playoff
Rondo?
He was on our team last year, Dave.
Yeah.
Until he got hurt.
And
now
what
he's in the
happened?
Pelicans.
He was
Until he
dead
got
dicking
hurt.
the first seed Celtics.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen here. Playoff Rondo,
I said
Drew Holiday,
6.
whatever, respect you. Drew Holiday, who's been playing really well, probably when healthy, he is a top defensive, top two-way guard in the league. Anthony Davis, just nothing but praise for the man. He is finally popping off the way we expect him to. And Wet Boy of the Week here, and Nico, I think that was one of the best mid-year pickups. Honestly, it's weird to say. I know as a Bulls fan, yes, we handed him away, but he has provided such great spacing for this team. And the reemergence of Okafor on that team, they've made it work with guys that shouldn't work. And that's why I want to respect them. I want to give them the win. I think it's going 7. I think this will be a crazy matchup because the guards, Dame and CJ, just all night dropping threes. Threes are better than twos, but I think that there's something about this New Orleans team that it's just going to click.
Do they win in 7?
I got New Orleans in 7.
I am weirdly agreeing with Dave Oster here. I have New Orleans going in 7. I look at this, and you mentioned the down low matchup, Mirotic, AD. I know Yusuf Nurkic has been great, but yeah. I think that clearly New Orleans wins the down low matchup. They also have Emeka Okafor, because, come on, I'm not going to disrespect Emeka Okafor. You have Nico and AD. They're clearly winning that down low battle, and I think it's a severe disadvantage when you're looking at the two best players down low for New Orleans being Nikola and AD. And yes, Portland does have Yusuf Nurkic, but I think it's a big win there in that department for New Orleans. And while Dame and CJ might be underrated players, I also think you could say that for Rajon Rondo and Drew Holiday. I think they can closely match Dame and CJ, at least defensively, possibly slow them down, where offensively Nico and AD won't really have that matchup. You're also getting April Nico. So I'm taking New Orleans in 7 in that 3-6 matchup. Now,
buddy.
Golden State versus San Antonio. Will this be close? Will Kawhi play is probably the bigger story question. Will Kawhi play, Ricky?
I'm going to say Kawhi doesn't play, and because of which the Warriors have no problem without Steph. Like, I know that the big thing today they posted that Steph was reevaluated yesterday. He's going to intensify his on-court rehab, and he'll be reevaluated in 1 week. I'm assuming he'll be back then for the second round. They won't need Steph. They'll get by the Spurs without Kawhi.
How many games?
I'll say 5. I'll be nice to the Spurs, but it'll probably be 4.
David?
I think this is going to be a disappointing series, just all in it.
Just don't even watch Warriors going to run right through them?
Not right through them. I think it's going to be 5 as well, but I think that the problem is when you look at the way these teams match up, it's just you're relying so much on Manu Ginobili to have games above what he should be doing at his age. You're relying on Tony Parker, DeJounte Murray, all these guys who have had, DeJounte's not in that category, but these two guys who are your base veterans, and then LaMarcus Aldridge continue popping off. Yes, it's a mismatch down low with LaMarcus Aldridge, but Draymond can get in his head so easily, and that is what I'm terrified of if I'm San Antonio, and that is why I'm going Golden State. Like, regardless of their injuries, regardless of Steph not being there, you still have Kevin Durant. You can still go ISO and just beat any team. Klay Thompson can get fire hot or ice cold and still play, defensive player of the year defense. Like, you just pick your poison with that team.
I agree with you. I think Golden State's going to win in 5. It's just something where this team's still ridiculously talented. You still have Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. You can look at the rough start and the rough end they had to the season, but still, these guys know how to turn it on. These guys are playoff veterans.
You think it's just flipping a switch for the playoffs?
I think so. I think it's going to be, you're going to see that in Andre Iguodala and Sean Livingston too. Maybe not to the same level we've seen before, but I still think they'll be able to up their game and be great off the bench for Golden State. I think Golden State wins in 5. And even if Kawhi Leonard comes back, I don't think it changes that much because Kawhi still hasn't played in a game since January. So, he's still a great, talented player, but he's not in game shape right now. He doesn't have that game mentality. So even if Kawhi comes back, I don't know if it's going to be that big of a game changer enough to help San Antonio win this series.
Do you think Kawhi shows up in the playoffs?
No.
I'm
saying no because, like what Sean said, why would I'm speaking on a Kawhi front now because I'm not in game shape. Why would I come back to possibly re-injure myself because I haven't been? Yeah, you've been working on.
I don't think it's a re-injury thing. It's just I think even if he comes back, he's not going to be in game shape, so he's not going to be as effective as he should be.
But also look at the last time he came back this year, where it was kind of like where some people are now saying, "Oh, he's got like how many times in the comments we see, oh, he's just got the yips." You can say that because of what we've seen already this year with him coming back and then pulling himself off the shelf and going right back, or putting himself back on the shelf is what I meant to say.
Like Greg Popovich said, they're not waiting on a hero. I don't think they're going to be getting a Kawhi Leonard showing up in the tunnel like right before the game with a silhouette behind him. So Golden State is going to be advancing for all of us. They're in 5. Let's move over to the Eastern Conference side. Toronto versus Washington. We can be quick with this one. Toronto wins in 4.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't think so. I don't think it's 80. Like
you don't think they win in 4, but you think they win in 5?
No.
Are you seriously picking Washington right now?
No, I'm not picking Washington. I'm picking the Raptors. But the thing that when it comes to this series, I think that when you said like, oh, the Rockets T-Wolves will be a more interesting 1-8. No, I think Wizards Raptors are going to be a more interesting 1-8 than Rockets T-Wolves. Although I will say Raptors in 5, I think that it's going to be interesting to see what Washington team we get, and could that backcourt of Beal and Wall prove and show what they showed last year. They almost took down the Celtics. It was almost
if
Cavs
John Wall
Wizards.
Didn't just get completely gassed, he would have been going.
Watching that final shot of Game 6 here before one of our podcasts during one of our podcasts, and then we thought, oh, Game 7 they're coming out, and John Wall no-showed.
John Wall has no gas left in the tank. He's just dead out there. Yeah.
That's why I think this could be an interesting 1-8, but I'm still going Raptors. Toronto fans, don't get mad.
I so want to put Washington through. Really? I really do, but it's not happening. Like Washington doesn't have depth to compete with Toronto's depth. That's the problem. Is Toronto can keep everybody fresh. Their bench unit is on par or above average than most people's teams. Like it's going to be Toronto. I think it's going to be Toronto in 5 or 6. I think it could go 6 because I'm not disrespecting like John Wall, Bradley Beal, Otto Porter. Like those 3 dudes can just go against anybody. Anyone in the league, they can take a game off of. That's why I'm going probably Toronto in 6, but just the depth is a problem. We've seen what happens when this team goes cold from the outside. Toronto is just too deep.
This is not the same Toronto team that we've seen before. And I understand people are worried about DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry no showing again in the playoffs. Bros? But that is this thing that has been thrown out there consistently. Yeah. I think they're going to try to defeat that narrative. This is Toronto's year if they want to win NBA Finals. Dwayne Casey over Scott Brooks, not even a question. The depth of Toronto, not even a question against Washington. Yes, they might have better stars, you could say. I don't know, maybe I would say John Wall's better than DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan's better than Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's better than Kyle Lowry. But also I would say the starting 5 for Toronto's better. The depth's better. The coaching's better. They're going to have home court. They win in 4.
Well, and the thing just about this entire Eastern Conference overall is I'm looking at each of the matchups, and I can make a case in my head for each of the lower seed teams to win an upset.
Except for this next matchup.
No, I could see. I don't think that it'll happen. But the Pacers have been really good. Well, the Cavs aren't the same as last year. It could happen.
Let's talk about it. Cleveland and Indiana in the 4-5 matchup. Indiana, the sleeper team, coming out of the Eastern Conference. No one thought they would be here this year with Nate McMillan taking over. But
we heard it from Pacer fans in the comments.
Oladipo has been fantastic. So let's look at Cleveland, Indiana. What is the argument that they could possibly upset?
Well, I mean, for me, Oladipo's got it. He's got to go off. But the one thing that I look at is the question for the Cavs is how far can LeBron take you? It's the first round, so I don't have to ask that too hard. So, yes, Cavs in 5, but I could see a maybe reality in my head where the Pacers win this series, but I'd still go Cavs. I'm being nice. I'm giving the Pacers a game. I'm giving Oladipo a game.
I want to agree here because this is a very young Cleveland team, and a lot of these guys, it's going to be their first playoff appearance for some of them. I honestly think that Indiana, again, exceeded all expectations. No one expected them to be here.
Nope.
Depot's been great. Sabonis great. That trade looks better and better every day that passes by. But at the same time, like you said, it's LeBron James. It's the playoffs. He's in the East. He wins the East. That's just the narrative. Until I see something else, that's just who I'm going to roll with.
So you said Cleveland is a young team, so that's why they might not win?
I think the lack of playoff experience on Larry Nance and Jordan Clarkson is really going to be the big question here. The level of effort we've seen, it's basically been LeBron James, Nance, and I forget his name, the power forward.
Okay, but who has
Rodney Hood?
Who has playoff?
Power forward.
Not a power forward. Who has playoff experience in Indiana? I think it's Bojan, and that's it from
Oladipo last year.
Oh, Oladipo, that's right. But what, 5
the
games, 4 games?
Their team?
4
the
games.
Guy who's leading their team?
But 4 games. LeBron James 217 games in the playoffs.
I know.
217. I don't think Oladipo's played 217 games in his career. All right? Come on.
Bojan can
this is LeBron James. This is LeBron James.
A decent matchup at the 4-5.
Who's stopping LeBron?
No one.
No one. Who's stopping Kevin Love? Can someone guard Kevin Love on the outside?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, I think Sabonis can go out
You
there.
think that Kevin Love is going to be slowed down by
I think
Thad
Young and Sabonis can slow him down, yes.
Ridiculous. Cleveland in 4. This is a team. This is a team that is
Cleveland
experienced. This is a team that is
experienced.
This isn't a hot take. It's LeBron James. It doesn't come. It doesn't come as a hot take when it's LeBron James.
By the way,
LeBron James is winning this in 4. You don't have a star that is playoff. To beat LeBron James, you need to be experienced and you need to be able to slow down LeBron James. They don't have anyone to slow down LeBron. So yes, they might be able to stop. Sabonis and Thad Young might be able to slow down K-Love one-on-one, but you have to stop LeBron from getting the ball to K-Love and creating space and getting lanes. LeBron's going to average 40 in this first round. They're winning in 4.
I agree. I think that the Cavs are the ones that are going to win. That's why I said so. But
we all said so.
I can totally see it's not one of those where it's to me 100% Cavs. There's a small little window.
When
chance.
I would bet my house on this over.
Well, you don't have a house.
Okay, I bet my car on this.
Okay.
The thing that gets me around everywhere. I would bet my car on Cleveland sweeping over. I would think
that's the most likely to sweep.
Any other result.
That's the most likely sweep, but I would also be more confident saying Cleveland would win. I would be more confident saying Minnesota would win over Indiana winning. That's what I would say.
I'm just saying when Jeff Green
I think Minnesota
the series or one game.
The series.
Okay.
I think Minnesota has more of a shot to beat Houston than Indiana does to Cleveland. Cleveland's winning in 4.
I'm just saying when Jeff Green brings he's one of your best 3 locked in players at all times, you got some problems. I'm just saying.
Okay, but who is the guy that's always locked in?
Yeah, I know
Who's the third guy that's always locked in for Indiana?
Yeah, it's Miles Turner.
There's a ton of but he popped off last year. I'm gonna give him credit. But again, I still think this is Cleveland. Cleveland to win. And they've matched up in the first round last year, didn't
They match up every year.
Yeah. So
every single year.
I think we even talked about Indiana possibly pulling the upset because of Paul George. I think Cleveland's still swept.
Just got to get
that's
that.
because Paul George chokes.
Just got to bring Lance Stevenson back for low.
He's still on the team.
I say he's
That's
literally
right.
going
He
to
is.
do it.
I completely
He's
forgot.
going to
He's
tie
on
LeBron's
the
shoes
13.
together.
So he's going to blow on LeBron.
He's
again.
got playoff experience. Cleveland and 4. 3-6 matchup, Philadelphia versus Miami. A lot of people are liking Miami.
This one's the most interesting Eastern Conference one to me because I'm kind of upset Joel's not playing or injured for this one.
He's out for the first one.
because
Only the
Brett
first
Brown-
game confirmed.
I
Brett Brown
want
has not said he's
to
out for the
see
series.
Joel in this game or in this series because I want to see Whiteside
Care.
put it up, put that amp it up a little bit because the Heat. Do I have the Heat upsetting the Sixers? No, I don't. I've got the Sixers winning because they've got Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz has actually looked amazing since coming back. But this could be if you told me any one, you got one upset to pick, I'd pick the Heat.
I don't know. I mean, I think both the bottom tier matchups are going to be interesting, but I think this Miami team is veteran heavy, and that's why everybody wants to roll with them. They've got playoff experience, they've got the pedigree and coaching. They have so much knowledge on that team. You've got Dwayne Wade out there, you've got Dragic. You have so many vets.
Waiters County.
He ain't
He's
playing.
hurt.
That's
but
right.
That's
still
cool.
Waiters
Kelly
County.
Olynyk.
Yeah, I would say you just have a lot of great role players and guys with experience and a coach who knows how to get the most out of them versus a very young team who can get exposed, who no lead is safe for because Jesus Christ, watching them play with a lead is the most terrifying thing in the fourth quarter of any game.
The thing, though, with the coaching advantage, though, that
Yeah.
I would say is, although Brett Brown, I would say, I'm giving the side to Spoelstra.
yeah.
But Brown comes from, correct me if I'm wrong, comes from the Popovich tree.
He does.
So it's like
But he's also,
he's no slouch.
Popovich.
his first 2 years,
Yeah,
he
he's
won
not
like
Popovich.
25 games, but that's cool.
But that was because that was their plan.
I'm
TTP.
just saying,
TTP.
get the fuck out of talking about him in the same realm as Coach Spoelstra. That's just all honesty, no disrespect
I'm
to
just-
Brett
Brett
Brown.
Brown
I'm
isn't
just
a
saying-
top 10 coach. Spoels
No,
is probably
Spoels
top
is a-
3.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not,
thank you.
I'm not trying to say Brett Brown is, but I'm just saying let's not overlook it just because he's not.
He's middle of the pack. He's totally fine. He hasn't proved anything, but this is an amazingly young team.
What's the key matchup in this one? Is it coaching? Is it the bench depth? Is it what's going on here?
Can Hassan Whiteside get it up if Joel Embiid's not out there? It's kind of the big question because when he and Joel are out there, that is the most intense physical matchup. That's old school basketball, and I love that. Without him
How many
carrying them,
technicals will we see if that happens?
one of the two or both are getting tossed if they're playing together in this series. But I think the big thing is if he's locked in and he can hold up Ben Simmons from those easy drives to the lane, and Markelle Fultz the same thing, drives to the lane because we haven't seen the outside shot from either one of these guys. I think if he can be a true rim protector and get back to that stats of 2 years ago when he's blocking 3 a game, just left and right, anything that came near that rim, that could be a really bad matchup for them. But Philadelphia has such great shooting in the midseason pickup of Bellinelli, Ilyasova has been incredibly huge for them. That's why I'm going Philly. They've got a great balance, and I just the thing is just closing games.
How many games do they win?
Philly in 6.
Philly in 7.
All right,
I think this is going to go the distance.
I'm going to say Philly in 6 as well. Not trying to discount Miami. I know we even shit on them early in the season. Seeing that they wouldn't even make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that looks bad there.
Proved
But
us wrong.
again, I think that talent will win out here. And especially if Joe comes back. I know that will bolster Whiteside, who'll want to come up and play more. But still, who's more talented? Joe
Who
Embiid.
adds more at the end of the day?
Yeah. So, I mean, even though, Joe coming back will fire up Whiteside, Joe's still the best player. So Philadelphia. That's going to be going on in the second round. Boston versus Milwaukee in the final first round matchup. Thoughts on this one?
I'm really upset the Bucks weren't the 8th seed. I'll be honest.
You want Bucks in 6?
I wanted to see Bucks I wanted to make that prediction, Bucks in 6 over the Raptors.
You can still make it over the Celtics.
No, this is one where can this Bucks team beat the Celtics? You're damn right they could. Will they? Probably not. I'd go Celtics in 6 just because of, they don't have Kyrie, they don't have Gordon Hayward, but this team I think has enough to maybe get past the Bucks, the inconsistent Bucks.
Will this be the most boring first round matchup? Because
No.
I honestly think it might be.
No, most boring is Warriors Spurs.
I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think that I don't think it'll be boring just because I think the matchups will be close because of how depleted Boston is. It seems like I'm shit talking Milwaukee, but in all honesty, if it was a healthy Boston team,
And Boston
what's
has-
the point? They'd win in 3.
And
It's just
Boston
done.
also has the coaching advantage.
Right. Boston's got an amazing coach. They've got all these young players who are going to get playoff experience. And I just think that because of the coaching problem, because of the problem with spacing on Milwaukee, their defensive just awfulness, that it's weird. But yeah, I'm taking a team of backups and rookies and sophomores.
I'll take Boston 7, and I think every single game's going to be won by 10 points. I think it's going to be a really bad 7-game series.
You think Giannis is just not going to?
So are you thinking?
Like, I think they're going to. I think Boston's going to win.
Like 2009 Hawks Heat, where it was every game was double digits, but it went the distance somehow.
Yeah, like Boston's going to win. Boston's going to win every game at home. Milwaukee's going to win every game at home. That's it. Mm-hmm. They're going to win by 10 each game. They're going to be like free throws at the end of the game. Like, it's just going to be boring basketball. Boston wins and goes on the second round. But let's move into the second round matchups. And this is going to be a little bit different because we didn't pick every single matchup. But on the top side, the Houston, Minnesota, Oklahoma City side, Utah side, what's your matchup and who you got winning?
I'm going to go, Rockets, Jazz, and this is one where I feel like the Jazz are going to be that team. Woo, we won the first one, and then, all right, we're playing the big boys, and the Rockets just move right through them. If anything, it's Rockets in 5 if it's like, a bad series, but I'm going to say Rockets in 4, and they cruise right on through 8-0 to the Western Conference Finals.
David?
I got Rockets and OKC in this matchup. I think that honestly, Houston.
Brody versus James Harden.
It's what we all want to see. Can we be honest and just say, like, from a fan perspective, that's what we all want to see?
It.
Because you get 3 All-Stars on one team. I know Carmel's not really an All-Star this year, but 3 All-Stars on that team.
Name.
Couple All-Stars on this team.
We have the 3 All-Stars versus the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, we could say that. 3 All-Stars versus 2, but, Clint Capella was in MVP runs early in the season. I'm just tossing out there. No, I think OKC gets rolled. I think this is just an expose.
4-game sweep?
This is an expose on, like, oh, you thought you were good? Let's just show him for real. Like, Chris Paul's going to break the curse. He's going to get past this round. We're all going to celebrate. It's going to be great.
Do you think, and let's say that happens where they get rolled, do you think Pop just goes to Kawhi, like sends them the link to like the blowouts and just be like, see, this is what happens when you just start adding talent and don't give a shit about a team? I have Houston versus Utah. I don't think it's going to be a sweep like that just because I think Utah has a great coach. I think they also have Utah behind them. I think, they might be like, whoa, we got past the first round, but I don't think they're going to be blinded by that.
I just think the Rockets are really good.
I think Houston will win in 5. I just, again, talent is going to beat out here. And not saying that Utah isn't talented, but they shouldn't be the 5th seed. No one really thought they were going to be the 5th seed. They overachieved for their team. They're going to be a great team going in the future. Again, they have a great front office. They have a great coach. They have a great young star, Donovan Mitchell. I just think it's a little bit too early for them to start, pulling up crazy upsets. I think Houston wins this one in 5. Let's now go to the Portland, New Orleans, Golden State, San Antonio side. We all had Golden State advancing, but you had Portland going on. So you have Portland versus Golden State. Thoughts on that matchup?
This was one. So before I saw the article before we recorded of Steph intensifying his rehab, I originally had the Blazers over the Warriors. I think this is the matchup I want to see in the second round because of how well, and I know that playoff basketball and regular season basketball are totally different. Yeah. But if there was any team that I would say in this regular season that had the Warriors number more times than not, it was this Blazers team. It's like they just brought something to each game where it was like, yeah, we want to beat you. We want to show you we're better than you. You are the one. We have the target on your back, to where I at first picked Portland to win. But because I think Steph will be back. This team is totally different with Steph. I'm going to say Steph comes back, Warriors win. But if Steph doesn't come back, Blazers move on in this one. But my pick is Warriors in 6.
All right. That's kind of interesting. I'm a little do you think that if Steph rushes back, do you think he's going to play like a couple years ago where he's like on again, off again, hurt, and you could tell he wasn't quite all there?
I don't think that'll happen. I think at the worst it'd be like, nah, I just can't come back for this. And then if Steph isn't in this series, I would worry if I'm Golden State a little bit more than I would if like usual worry for Golden State because they're Golden State.
All right. Fair enough. I've got my matchup going New Orleans and Golden State. I think Golden State will win this one in 6. I think New Orleans is just, I love them as a team. I think the makeup is awesome. I gushed about them in the first round. But Golden State is legit, and Golden State has so much talent, and Kevin Durant cannot be matched from a scoring perspective. Klay Thompson is just, I don't think he's going to have that weird year like he did last year. I think he's going to be hot. I think Steph will be healthy enough to contribute at a top level, which means the advantage is gone from the backcourt. So all of that in mind, I think Golden State will take this one. It'll be 6. It'll be a great series, though.
Or you mentioned Clay, that weird shooting that he had coming into the playoffs. Even he wasn't that good.
Yeah, it's true.
I have New Orleans versus Golden State, and I kind of agree with you, Dave, that it's going to be a weird series. It's going to be something that might be closer than we think, but Golden State's way too talented. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, Anthony Davis is a marvel.
He's one man, though.
Top 5 team, top 5 team. But, I mean, again, I think it's going to be a rough series for New Orleans against Portland, and then going up against Golden State, who had a fairly easy run against San Antonio. Having Steph come back probably ease him into that lineup a little bit. I still think Durant, Clay, and Draymond will have enough talent to defeat New Orleans, and then adding Steph, if he's near 100%, it's just going to give him that extra push. I think New Orleans takes it to 6, but I think that Golden State will advance to the Western Conference Finals. So we all do have Houston versus Golden State, shockingly, meeting up in the Western Conference Finals. Let's move now to the Eastern Conference Final side, the Toronto, Washington, Cleveland, Indiana matchup. We all have Toronto versus Cleveland. Thoughts on this matchup? Is this going to be the best conference matchup or the best matchup we have in the Eastern Conference?
Yes. And the reason why is this Raptors team, like you mentioned a little bit ago, if they want to go to the finals, I'm going to say go to the finals because I don't think they'll beat either the Rockets or the Warriors.
Spoilers.
If they want to go to the finals, this is their best bet. This is their best bet of the year. This Cavs team isn't what it was last year. Yeah, it still has LeBron, but they are a weaker Cleveland team. I'm actually going to go with the Raptors in 6. I'm going to pick the Raptors. I know what
LeBron James not.
I know what people may say. Some people may be like, "Oh,
you were
Ricky,
just picking the Wizards to beat them in the first round."
Not that. Some people may say in the comment, "Well, Ricky, this is you being a flipper because you've said that I don't know if I could pick the Raptors over Cleveland because it's one of those where I will pick Cleveland until you prove me wrong."
Yeah.
But this one, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go Raptors in 6, although I am still keeping that. I am not super confident in this pick because the Cavs, it's like Warriors and Cavs, do you go against them? Because when you go against them, you're usually wrong. That's my little caveat with this. But I am going to go bold. I'm going to say Raptors in 6 over LeBron and the Cavs. LeBron now contemplates future and moves out of Cleveland because he didn't get past the second round.
Dave, thoughts?
Stunned?
Do you agree with him?
No, stunned. LeBron James is the East. Like, the East stops with LeBron James.
Maybe it's a new era.
But it's not. Because what has he done to Toronto? Like, to end the year, he literally dad-dicked Toronto.
Oh, I know.
He's like, oh, you thought you guys could actually beat us? Like, you think this could be a series? Are you kidding me right now? No, this is not a series. I love Toronto. They're a great team. They're stacked depth-wise. I love OG. I think the Trash Bros will not be Trash Bros in this playoffs, but I still think LeBron James is LeBron James. He's going to average like 40, 15, and like 12.
Never going to sit.
And never going to sit. Never going to sit. He playing 44 minutes a game.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
This will be, do you know how many years this will be LeBron making the playoffs?
9?
This will be
every single year?
This will be his 13th year in the playoffs.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
His 13th year making the playoffs. I think it's
the only one he
13th
missed
straight.
was his rookie, right?
No, he missed the first 2.
Okay, rookie
think.
and then sophomore.
Yeah, rookie and sophomore. So he's been in the playoffs 13 times. Do you know how many times
He's been
Toronto's? No, do you know how many times Toronto has been in the playoffs as a franchise?
Less than that?
10.
Oh, I was going to say.
So
like
LeBron
5.
James is more seasoned.
But I mean,
in the playoffs.
LeBron James has been
Than
out
Toronto.
of the Eastern Conference
They're in the same
representative
conference. Yeah, they're in the same conference.
for the last like 9 years in a row,
Yeah,
right?
I'm just
So,
saying.
I mean, that's
one guy is more seasoned than your whole franchise is.
Yep.
So I mean, again, Toronto, it's been a great story. You guys have a great team. You guys have a ton of depth. I think this is going to go 7 games. This isn't going to be a blowout like we've seen before.
No.
LeBron against Toronto. LeBron's still winning. I mean, it's not a question. LeBron is going to be able to dad dick you. We've seen playoff Bron. That's a thing. Like LeBron in the playoffs is a different animal, and the guy that we see in the regular season is already scary enough. So it's not even going to be a question of who wins because you're always questioning, will DeMar DeRozan, will Kyle Lowry show up? They might really amp that up in the second round because it's like, we're going up against LeBron. We got to do everything we can. And again, you have a great amount of depth on this team, and your depth is better than Cleveland's depth, but you don't have LeBron James. That's the biggest thing. And a ton of playoff matchups and a ton of basketball is just based on the stars you have. You have the biggest star in the game in LeBron James. LeBron James will bring the Cleveland Cavaliers to the Eastern Conference Finals again. in 7 games over Toronto. I think it's going to be close. I'm not saying it won't be. I think that it's going to be a crazy loud game, Game 7 in Toronto. But I think LeBron has been in even more hostile situations coming back from, 3-1, going into Golden State and putting up a triple-double in the NBA Finals in Game 7. LeBron isn't going to be fazed by the pressure. LeBron's going to win this one, and they are going to move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's move now to the bottom half, Philadelphia, Miami, Boston, Milwaukee. I think we all have the Sixers and Boston, right?
Yeah.
We do.
So thoughts on this matchup, Boston versus Philly?
I think this is one where if injuries were off for this one, Celtics win easily to me. But because of what the Celtics have been through, it feels weird to say this, but I've got the Sixers moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals just because of they're more of a complete team to me, and I feel like they're going to have more firepower to get past the Celtics. I'm going to say Sixers in 6. It's not going 7.
All right. Dave?
This matchup is cancer. Like, the fans of each of these fan bases is one of the most outspoken groups and passionate groups about their
teams.
teams.
Look at how much Jake tweets about them.
Literally cancer. Like, the game threads on Reddit are going to be amazing. It's going to be a whole bunch of bans, blocks, and just deleted. But I love it. I can't wait to see it. And honestly, the best part is we're going to get to watch Fultz Tatum. And people are going to act like this is the be-all, end-all, like, who was right? Like, and we know they're their first-year players. This is incredible. And
suck it, Lonzo.
I mean...
I was thinking the only thing that would make it better if Lonzo...
but he's not good enough to carry his team into the playoffs.
I'm so glad. Yeah, Fultz totally carried Philly.
And that's what I'm saying.
Eastern Conference is weaker.
I'm saying J-Tay,
Let's say that out. Eastern Conference is weaker.
Yeah. I mean, you can say that, but I'm just saying the Eastern Conference is better. But I think Philly's going to win this one just purely because... they will have a healthy Joel Embiid out there. I know Baines is one of the best defensive bigs out there, like surprising stat-wise that he is, but I still think Philly's going to take this one. They have so much outside shooting, so much depth, and Joel Embiid plus Ben Simmons is better than anything this Boston team can trot out there at this point in the season.
You know how much Sean loves Baines, man. It's your favorite player, isn't it?
No, Dave hates him.
I hate Aaron Baines.
I don't give a shit about Aaron Baines.
I hate Aaron Baines. I hate Mo Wagner. I hate... for some reason, it's all of these, like...
except for
who's the guy on Kelly
Olynyk.
Like,
except for Scal. You didn't like Scalabrini.
But it's all of these, like, gritty, like, bigs, and there's something about the play style that just gets under my nerves.
Use the adjective. Use what kind of bigs?
Gritty?
White
dirty?
bigs.
I'd say dirty.
Yeah. White, dirty bigs. You don't like white, dirty bigs is pretty much what we're saying.
I guess.
I mean, like, all of those guys you named are all white guys.
I mean,
Mo Wagner, Kelly Olynyk.
Well, 2 of them were Boston.
Aaron Baines.
It was just it was mostly the Boston guys.
I know,
the
I'm just
Mo
throwing
Wagner
out
thing
there.
was just I was picking
You
them up
hate
because
white
of
guys.
I apparently do. I just hate white, dirty bigs. That's a thing, apparently. I don't know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Sixers. So Sixers are winning in 6. I mean, Boston doesn't have the firepower. They're a great team. They're a great head coach team.
And they're loaded for the future.
I think they're gonna win, and I think they're gonna win 2 games. But I think Sixers are gonna move on just because they have the talent and having Joe back, having Ben Simmons, JJ Redick, Dario Saric, Rocco, Markelle Fultz.
You just keep. That's the thing.
Marco Bellinelli,
keep talking.
Ersan Ilyasova, Rashawn Holmes, Amir Johnson, unfortunately, T.J. McConnell. Couldn't forget TJ.
I mean,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 76ers. So they're moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now we have Western Conference Finals, Houston versus Warriors, and the Land versus the 76ers. You have
Raptor 76ers.
You have Raptor 76ers. So that's the only difference that we have. So Houston versus Warriors. Who are you liking this matchup?
If Steph is healthy and this Warriors team can be the Warriors team,
how healthy? 100% healthy?
Just capable.
No, give me a percentage.
Being capable.
We need percentage.
Maybe like 75.
Wow.
So 75%
capable Steph out there. This Warriors team wins, and that's what I got. I got Warriors in 7. I think this one will go the distance. The Rockets would give the Warriors a challenge, but the Warriors are going to be representing the West for yet another year.
Dave, I mentioned this last year. We mentioned this a little bit this year. The Warriors might have everything that you need to take down this super team in Golden State. Yeah, what did I say?
You said the Warriors might have everything to take down
the Rockets.
This Golden State team.
The Rockets might have what it takes to take down the super team. I got like 4 hours.
He was thinking of the injuries.
They didn't
the Warriors
themselves. They've injured themselves, so you're right.
But
they got Zaza.
Do the Rockets finally have what it takes to take down the super team?
Yes, that's the whole point of this team. They were built to beat one team, and they're going to do it. They've played amazing this season. Highest tempo, lowest tempo, doesn't matter. Incredible defense, incredible offense. Scheme-wise is fantastic. You'll have Luke Mamute back at this point in time. I love this matchup. This is probably the real championship if we're being honest. Like this is what we all expect. And
especially if Cleveland does get knocked out before the finals,
sure, kid.
Then it is the real NBA
LeBron
championship.
James not in the finals. We all are with you there.
No. But I'm just saying, like this year, you can at least maybe make a better case than years past.
Fair enough. With all that in mind, I still think the Rockets are going to beat Golden State. I'm all in on this team. I've been all in on this team for the last 2 years. And when you guys were giving percentages for can they beat the Rockets, can they be the champion, or can they beat the Warriors, can they be champions, who's the highest? This guy. So we'll see. I'm going to look like a total asshole if they get swept, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think they'll get swept.
I think they're going to win it. I think they've got what it takes to beat this Golden State team.
So you both have Rockets in 7.
No, he's got
Warriors.
Oh, you have Warriors in 7.
Yeah.
You said Rockets in
No,
7.
I said Warriors in 7.
I don't know.
He's taking 75% Steph.
Not
to
going
win a
against
series.
the boys whose shoes I got on right now.
I don't know
Steph.
what has happened, and I understand that the Rockets have had a fantastic season, and I'm not disrespecting that. I'm not trying to take anything away from Houston fans. I know Mina is a huge supporter of Houston. She's always been a supporter of us. So this isn't a bash at Mina, but again, this has been written in stone since Kevin Durant signed with the Warriors. I get it.
The next chapter.
I get it. The Rockets are a fantastic team. I understand that. I'm not trying to disrespect what they've done. They've been a fantastic team. But we have seen Golden State show up, and the only reason that Golden State won't win this series is if Golden State has beaten itself and if they're too tired and if they're too injured. It's the only reason they're losing this series. Again, Houston has everything in place to win. And they have everything, they have the tempo, like Dave mentioned, the defense, offense. They have a really capable head coach. They have 2 stars in James Harden, Chris Paul. It's the fucking Golden State Warriors. They lost 1 game in the playoffs last year. 1 game. 1 game in the playoffs last year. And if Kawhi doesn't get injured, maybe they lose 2. But this is a team that is going to win in 7. It's going to be a very tough series, but it's written in stone that the Warriors are going to the finals. It's been written in stone since the start of the season.
I'm going to say one thing that might start a little fire here.
I was already starting fire, but okay.
Could you imagine if in this series they go together, game 1, Chris Paul either steps or collides with Zaza, and Chris Paul gets injured?
I think people would fight in the streets. That would be pathetic if that happens. I don't want that to happen.
A collision. He steps on the ankle of Zaza and twists it.
That's the last thing I want to happen.
Somebody's got Tanya Harding Zaza at this point. We're gonna take him out. That would be the reaction to that because I want Chris Paul to succeed. He has been.
I do too. I'm not trying to say this because I don't want to see James Harden or Chris Paul not
he's
succeed.
He's saying 75% Steph is going to beat out Chris Paul, and that's a goddamn joke.
I think Steph
and the
will be
only reason I
75%.
say Chris Paul is because I don't think James Harden's not the one getting injured. It'd be Chris Paul that gets injured.
James Harden's going to flop like crazy, but he's not going to get hurt by Zaza.
And he'll piggyback.
Well, then we'll see tired James Harden. There we go. It's just a vicious circle.
I got to rest on your back, man.
I think Steph is going to be healthy. Again, this is Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, the best team we've seen ever in NBA history. I get it. Rockets have more depth.
Do you think there's going to be a technical problem for this team? With Kevin Durant getting the most technicals he's ever gotten, with the amount of time people have been thrown out of games this year.
I know that's been a thing.
I think they rein it in.
We talked about this before. Again, these are
doesn't
professionals.
The counter reset?
It does, but I still think that
I don't think it's going to be a factor.
And Kevin Durant both being as vocal.
This is something that we've seen before. Draymond saw what it did to his team back then. I think again, these are professionals. These are guys that have been through the playoffs. Again, I know this has been a worry, but we talked about this before. I think KD is going to know what to do. I think KD's been a professional before in the playoffs. I think he's going to be able to do that again, whether he likes the calls or not. We've seen outrageous from Steph before, but obviously that was very few and far between. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think that the only way that the Warriors lose is if they're not 100% healthy. But if they're healthy, or if they're not 95% healthy, if they're 95% healthy, they're winning in 7. I mean, that's just it's written in stone. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. They're the best 4 that we've ever seen in an NBA team. And I know that Houston has more depth. They're probably, they have a great system, but Steve Kerr knows how to get his guys to the finals, and he's going to do it again. So Golden State going to the finals for me. Ricky has Golden State as well. Dave has Houston. Let's move now to Toronto versus the 76ers for Ricky, and then for Dave and I, the Land versus the 76ers. Ricky, we'll start with you. Raptors versus the 76ers. Who you got and why?
Well, mine has nothing to do with actual basketball. Mine has...
Great. Love it.
Exactly. It has more to do...
We're going back to the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Philadelphia Phillies in 1992.
Not that. So I'll give you a little part of it. There's
Joe
one basketball thing. The thing that I
Meek
worry...
Mill versus Drake.
I'm going to bring in Meek Mill.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But the thing that I think for the Raptors is I have a worry that if the series against Cleveland goes to 7 and they win it in 7, they're at such an emotional high that this 76er team can just come in and backhand them and catch them off guard. Where it's like, oh, wait, the playoffs aren't over yet? That wasn't our championship? Also, and I know this is the part that has nothing to do with basketball, ever since Meek Mill went to jail, Eagles have won the championship. Villanova's won the championship. Sixers in 7 going on to the NBA Finals to meet the Warriors.
These predictions are cancerous. Dave, the Land versus the 76ers.
I don't know if I can top that. I really don't.
Sixers are going to the finals.
Well, wait, what about the Flyers? Flyers about to get fucked by the Penguins.
It's not like the Browns are going to win anything.
They won game 2. They came back and demolished in game 2.
But I
Could
mean,
you imagine if the Flyers won and
what if the Flyers lose? Then your whole prediction thrown off, and the Phillies aren't winning the World Series.
No, Phillies aren't.
No. But so far, since he's gone to jail, Philadelphia has just won 1-1.
The streak will break.
Whatever. Cleveland gonna win this one. It's gonna be a good series, but LeBron locked in is just a goddamn freight train.
But Dave, the 76ers beat him last time, right?
I respect.
And LeBron went off. He missed some free throws.
He missed some free throws.
I'm playfully mocking you. I don't believe that.
All right, because you're getting dangerously close to a backhand.
If I was Cleveland 76ers, I'd be picking Cleveland too.
Yeah. Look, I love Philly. You're inexperienced. You've had a great run, but I don't think they're ready to be a championship contending team. I just think that Cleveland has LeBron James, and he's going to take them to a championship.
I weirdly agree.
Spoilers.
I weirdly
2. I didn't say winning.
Okay.
I weirdly agree with Dave. Again, it's just something where Philadelphia's time is coming. Their time is just not
If
now.
they get there, led by a team of rookies
insane.
and sophomores, would this not be the greatest run for a young team in NBA? And could you imagine the contract control going forward for this team? This is already an amazing. Regardless of them doing well in the playoffs, they've already got one of the best future
LeBron.
teams.
You can't write this stuff.
They would
That's
just
the thing.
get. They would just get LeBron.
You can't write stuff like this.
Like,
I mean, the
if
fact
you
that
mock this out before the season, people would be like, "You're insane. You're crazy. Like this, no, terrible. You're out of your mind."
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's just you can't mock shit like this. I mean, it'd be the greatest story probably ever if they're able to somehow beat the Cavs, and then if they're go to the finals and they beat the Warriors or Rockets. Like, you just can't make stuff up like that. But let's go to the NBA Finals. Ricky, you have the Golden State Warriors versus the
76ers.
76ers. Jesus
So maybe
Christ.
you can write this stuff.
So are you writing the greatest story of all time?
I am not. I can't go against it. If it is Sixers Warriors, I know I just gave the Meek Mill thing and get, like you said, Sean, streaks end. And
So you're gonna make it?
The Warriors would end that streak. The Warriors would win the title, and it'd probably be in 5 games. The thing I toss up with this is, if it was Warriors Sixers, would this be one of the worst, least exciting finals wise? Because
No way.
I think that the Warriors could, on one end, I think the Warriors could just run through the Sixers, but on the other end, I think the Sixers would be able to give a fight and maybe push it to 6
I don't think it might not be close, but I mean, we saw a not close finals last year. No one really gave a shit.
I mean, if
Because
you get to 6, you're better than LeBron.
Last year it was impressive.
He's trying to piss people off.
Last year it was impressive, that what the Warriors were doing, but
Yeah.
I mean, there weren't great games really going on in the finals last year. The fact that Philadelphia would be there would be a great storyline. So I think that's why I think it might be a more exciting finals.
No,
than
but I'm
last year.
talking play and outcomes on the court.
Yeah,
Is what I'm saying.
The cool thing is, Philly can put up a good first half, but then the adjustments after halftime, Kerr would just murder them.
No lead would be safe, and then they'd lose
That's what I'm
that lead,
saying,
and the Warriors would just win by 30.
The Warriors can
I'm
pop off for 40
over-exaggerating.
and a quarter. So yeah, it's scary what they can do. And yeah, in that matchup, 100% Golden State winning, not close.
And the Warriors are going to
They're
win the
fun games to
championship.
watch though, because you still get to watch young talent.
I will say this: even if I had Cleveland in the finals, like both you guys do, I would still pick Warriors over Cleveland. Just saying.
Well, I've got Rockets in Cleveland in my finals, and I do have the Rockets winning. I think they're going to fulfill the prophecy. They've been put here to knock off the champs, and that's exactly what they did in the Western Conference Finals. And they're going to go in against LeBron James. And LeBron James really doesn't have an answer for what Chris Paul, James Harden, and Clint Capella can do to this team. Yes, he's got a bunch of tweener guys on his team who are all young, can be engaged, can be motivated, but at the same time, they're not nearly as talented as this Rockets team.
This is weird that I'm the only one that has Golden State, Cleveland. Like,
this
is weird.
Yeah.
I would have if I didn't have the Raptors winning, let's be honest.
Is this the fourth year then?
Yeah.
If that lines?
Fourth year.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's boring.
It kind of is. But again, this
Tell me
has
again
been
why Golden State wins.
written in stone. Well, I don't have them winning.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I have LeBron James winning it in 7. This is something.
You do know Cleveland's not the same team they were last year, right?
Did Ricky write this for you? Are you switching
He'd
spots?
be picking Golden State.
Yeah,
Get
he'd
the
be
fuck outta
picking
here.
Golden State hands
No, but
down.
this is a Ricky story. Like tell me how.
I don't think have I ever picked LeBron James to win the title.
No, but
No.
I mean it's him picking LeBron over Golden State is just bizarre enough that I feel like it could be a Ricky story.
Yeah, no, but I wouldn't pick LeBron over
I know.
Golden
I've
State.
picked LeBron James in the finals for the past 3 years.
The level of obscurity.
I'm not going away from it. I'm 1-1. I'm 1-1.
All right.
I get it. You know what? This Cleveland team is young. They really haven't been great. But also this Warriors team isn't going to be 100%.
You still think they're not going to be 100% by the finals?
They just went through a 7-game series where they just got blasted by Houston, where they weren't 100%. So how are they going to come out 100%? So Cleveland is going to come in, maybe not be 100%, but LeBron James is going to be fine. The guy just played 82 games a season. He's going to play, maybe 13 leading up to this. LeBron James is the best player in the NBA. We all know this.
He's be playing 45 minutes a game, though.
We all know this. And I mean, Kevin Durant and LeBron's going to be a fantastic matchup. But LeBron has younger players now with him. He'll be able to run a little bit more with them. I think it's going to be a different series than last year. Different teams. They won't have Kyrie to rely on. I think it's going to be a different story. I think LeBron wins at 7. And I'm going to get a ton of shit for picking this, but I don't really care. I don't care.
Because you forget the fact that Ty Lue is sadly their coach, so
it's true.
Tristan Thompson's going to get minutes, which means they're going to lose the game. I mean, where's your answer to that?
Hopefully Tristan Thompson gets injured. I don't know.
I mean, maybe Kardashian goes after him.
Maybe the Kardashians put a hit on him.
They could.
You know what? It'd be boring just to have Golden State win it. So could you imagine, though, if Bron wins it again?
It'd be insane.
It'd be fun.
He'd stay in Cleveland.
Let's get a 7-game.
Yeah, that'd be boring.
You think he stays in Cleveland at that point?
I don't know. If he wins the finals, he'll stay in Cleveland.
All right.
So I have LeBron James winning, and I just kind of want to get this segment done because it's been an hour. So
this is great. I love playoffs.
So you have Golden State.
I've got Warriors in 5 over the 76ers.
You have Houston.
Houston in 6.
And I have You have Cleveland in 7. With LeBron James being the NBA
I
Finals
almost wanted to say
MVP.
in 4, but I can't do a sweep in the finals.
No,
You can.
You can.
I can, but I
The
don't
Sixers
want
could
to.
win it in 4.
Not even I'm that crazy.
Anyways, tell us who you think's going to win the NBA playoffs. Who you think is going to be the raising the Larry O'Brien Trophy?
Who's your Finals MVP? Well, you're LeBron.
You're LeBron
Is
James.
it James Harden?
Me, it's James Harden. Yeah.
And then I'll go Steph as the Finals MVP if they go
You
off.
ask me stupid questions.
I don't know. I think
Who's going to be the Finals MVP? I just talked about LeBron. I wrote the champions is not
CD
the
That
Cavs.
was more of a question for Dave.
For my playoff bracket, it doesn't even say the Cavs. It says
says
LeBron.
LeBron.
It says LeBron champions.
Dave just
All right?
split it up. Cleveland.
I got Cleve in the Eastern Conference Finals. I got the Land in the finals.
and you got Rocky
Also,
winning it all.
CD's gonna be CD's gonna be playing. CD is gonna outshine Kevin Durant. I'm done with this segment.
Jeff Green is their savior right
Tell
now.
us who you think's gonna win the NBA Finals and down below. Give us your matchups, and also don't forget to check out the mock draft 4.0 that we're gonna be recording right after this, and then we're gonna do an NFL mock draft.
Yep.
This is a crazy.
It's gonna be a great day of recording.
Oh man, I want to blow my brains out. If you want to save that, check out patreon.com/mostlypodcast. You can be on a podcast and brighten up my day. It should be fun. You get to pick the topic and talk to these 3 morons, or you could also talk to
You realize
less
you call yourself a moron
Our
there.
3 morons.
Okay.
I'm a big moron. I just picked LeBron James to win the finals.
No one's gonna argue.
Talk to the other morons like Ricky and Mark, or Ricky and Brandon, or Ricky and Johnny, or
Or Ricky and anyone else.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or Yeah.
Yeah,
I would say.
and then you can also check out mostvaluablepodcast.com. Go over to the store, check all that good stuff out. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars on iTunes. Fast Break Podcast, The Onside Kick, the Primetime Podcast, The Outcast, the Rick and Johnny Podcast. All give us 5-star ratings over there. And that's going to do it. LeBron James is the Wet Boy of the Year, and he's going to be the Finals MVP, winning in 7 over in Golden State. That's going to do it. For Dave Oster, for Rick Widmer, I'm Sean Anderson. We'll see you next time.